Glacier is an incredible park, and I think that everybody needs to get up there and enjoy it. The experience is absolutely incredible, and I think that even just the view from the car window is amazing. And where we were was far into the backcountry, and we drove as far north as we could, where the road just ended 6 miles south of the Canadian border. The trail paralleled that border for quite a while along a lake. And our final camp, we were within eyeshot of the Canadian border. At the borderline was across some mountaintop, floating somewhere around 7,500 feet. Just super cool, super cool. The lakes are beautiful, the water crystal clear, and we were able to pump water with no problem at all because there was almost nothing in the water. We didn't see much more than a couple bears, well, mama bear and 3 cubs. We didn't see birds of prey. We didn't see deer, moose, or elk. However, we did hear some elk bugling in the backcountry during the daytime, which we, myself and another guy on our trip, he's also a hunter, we found peculiar. There just didn't seem to be a lot of fish. In the beginning of the video, there was that big metal object that actually stems from an incident in the early 1900s as a group had found oil up at the first lake there. And that oil was so rich with water that it had to be boiled off on site. And so that apparatus was designed to boil the oil, to evaporate the water on site so they could transport oil rather than oil and water back into, I don't know, wherever they were processing the oil at the time. However, they didn't take care of their animals, and I think the horses budged. That thing fell off the sled, and that thing probably weighed 3 tons. It's an incredible amount of steel. Anyway, the link for that story is below in the description.
All right, so looking at the map here, the trailhead is just about 6 miles south of the Canadian border, and you can see on top of the frame here that line that cuts across. Long Knife Peak is right below the Canadian border, so there we were. And Kintla Camp was our first, about 7 miles in, and then Upper Kintla was our second camp. And despite our efforts, we never made it to Boulder Pass.
Well, I'm 13 miles down a trail at a camp, Kintla Lake, and I haven't been on the air, really, much more than my 2-meter radio because I broke my coaxial with no way to repair it. So the HF system is down, and I now know what I need to carry as spare parts in order to make that repair in the field. It does bum me out that I won't be operating out here. We have to pack out 13 miles today, and it's been tough to get comfortable hiking. My pack isn't feeling as comfortable today or on this trip as I have in the past. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how we go on a 13-mile push. All right, so I'm going to take you on a journey to the bathroom here at Kintla, Upper Kintla Lake. Get up here, you start hollering, "Hey bear." You know, you start wondering when the Wicked Witch is gonna pop out. "Hey bear." It's like really thick woods. Kind of reminds me of Alaska, because you do everything with this. "Hey bear." It's a long ways. And there you go. You can see where our bears tried to get in. Oh, damage. CQ40, CQ calling CQ40 from Glacier National Park, operating QRP. This is Kilo India 7 Whiskey Juliet Papa listening. CQ calling CQ calling CQ40 from Glacier National Park, QRP. This is Kilo India 7 Whiskey Juliet Papa listening. So some of the trouble I ran into on this trip involves not being adequately prepared. And that's why you see a lot more nature videos and shots than anything. The radio itself carried super well. The gear that I have involving radio inside my bag probably weighed about 8 pounds. And that's a large commitment to have a point of failure bring the whole thing down. Starting the beginning of day 2 with that broken coaxial, I didn't have a choice but to carry my equipment as a lesson learned. So I need to adapt a system where I can have spare connectors and be able to do field repairs for coaxial cable. I did not expect to run into a problem like that in the field. And it was a simple problem brought on by a mistake, but also improper cable preparation during the construction process. As I built that cable, or installed that cable end, that SMA connector, I did not properly reinforce it, and it became a weak point in my system. So lesson 1, assemble these things with care and make sure that they're properly reinforced, especially with these light duty cables. Like the 316 it's a thin cable. It's very good for the purpose of running HF, but it doesn't have a lot of girth to it. It doesn't have a lot to reinforce too. So you kind of have to build in additional safeguards to make sure that it doesn't kink, that it doesn't tear, and it actually pulls through the tent door like my plan was, rather than pulling off the cable end or the connector as it pulls through the tent door. Point 2, have a repair kit. I think we all carry repair kits or couplers to kind of fix small problems, but this kind of issue requires a little bit more than that. Aside from the radio and only operating for a few minutes, one of the issues I ran into in that latitude was that the sun didn't set early enough to make contacts with those who may have been waiting for me on 40 meters. I don't think power was an issue. I just, that time of day, 5 watts has gotten me out far enough. But I do think that having solar activity on the ionosphere that late in the day did prevent me from making contacts like I may have expected. As the sky finally got dark at 11 p.m., I knew that I was going to be probably not talking to anyone, just calling CQ at that point recreationally. So the plan didn't really work out, but I think going into a next setup, I'll be quite a bit more deliberate. So watch for that. I'm already trying to coordinate a backcountry NVIS style communication relay, and I think I'm going to require the help of several operators, and hopefully we can create a network of backcountry stations across the West and activate this network after dark using minimal battery power. So keep an eye out. That's a project that I'm working on, something I've wanted to do for a long time.
All right, everybody, I'm going to follow up with another video, more on this trip, more geared around the equipment I hauled up and the radio equipment, probably most specifically, with a little bit longer discussion on it. So look forward to that. And thank you for all your support. We've just kind of smashed through 1,700 subscribers, so that's really cool. And just in case you hadn't seen, I do have some Wilderness Protocol 146.520 little oval stickers. They're about 3" by 2". And everyone who buys a cup of coffee on the Buy Me a Coffee website, I think, get one, and I just drop in the mail. So anyway, that's for the United States. I don't have a plan for international yet, so we'll figure that out. At any rate, thank you so much again for all the support, and I'll catch you on the next one.